well, from my perspective, from a selfish perspective, I can teach people what to say, how to say it, how to close the sale, how to get the business, what the process is. But I can't stand over people's staff and make them do it. And I know people are worried about AI, but the Aura 300, what we're developing is it's not going to reduce or take away people's jobs. It's going to do the tasks that I can't get them to do.
Hey everybody, welcome to Future Fuzz, a digital marketing podcast with a B2B focus. Today I'm speaking with Liz McKeon, who is a world-renowned salon business expert and author of the best-selling 30 Days to Beauty Business Success. Liz is also an award-winning speaker whose insights have transformed countless businesses with her strategic eye and transformative approach. Prepare to learn how Liz helps businesses achieve soaring productivity and deeply motivated staff, including a robust cash flow and that all-elusive work-life balance that we crave. Calling in from Dublin today, Liz, thank you very much for joining the show.
Thank you. It's my pleasure, and thank you for having me.
I'm really excited to talk to an award-winning speaker, so this is going to be absolutely a dream for you and very easy. Maybe you can start with telling us about your background, Liz. Like, where did it all start? Where did you start in the world of the beauty business?
My interest was always in business, so I went and did business first. And I came from a self-employed background from the building trade. And my father always had his eye on me going into that business. So I tried it for a year. Oh, just didn't like it at all. It's really interesting, actually, because I can remember being there week one and actually answering the phone, and some man said to me, "Can I speak to somebody intelligent?" And that was just like, "Daddy, I'm off out of here," and I'm going, and then I went back to beauty because that's what I always wanted to do. So it's funny that when you have a calling to something, it's you just may as well get into it. So the building trade wasn't my thing. So I did beauty, and then I worked for a lot of the large cosmetic houses, the big multinational globals. And then I started my own business. And my first business was a little health club for ladies before the big gyms came onto the marketplace. And then I had a distribution company. I had a couple of very large day spas. And then I had a small bespoke skincare centre where I just focused on outstanding customer service, fewer clients coming back more often and spending more money. And at the end of that, I'm giving you the very, very, very speeded up version. My business development manager said to me one day, "Liz, I wish you would just teach other people to do what you do." And
right.
I said, "But does everybody not do what I do?" And she said, "No, nobody runs a business the way you run a business." I had no idea about that.
Right.
So,
and then that led you into the world of consulting and speaking, I guess.
That is one of the things that I'm acutely aware of, that as business owners and entrepreneurs, it can be very lonely and very isolating. Like, I didn't know I was doing a good job.
No one told you.
Trudging along and looking at other people, and I'd meet people at events and things and think, "Oh my God, they have it cracked. They're doing a wonderful job. They're brilliant." And here am I. But you just never know. So it's helpful to get that outside feedback, isn't it? Yeah. So then I trained as a business coach, and then I found my real calling and became a trainer then after that, because people started asking me to take groups. So it was just ever evolving.
Brilliant. And what sort of projects are you working on right now? So, because your background is in the beauty sector, but also health as well. And where is it leading you at the moment?
So I've spent a long time now turning businesses around, taking them to their full potential. And that's really what I do, is look at a business. Where is it at? I don't need to see any of the historic stuff. I just say, well, right, okay, XXX, have a look around and say, right, this is how much money this business should be generating in a day or in a week. And then I work with people, teaching them or helping them to get from where they are to where they want to be, not necessarily where I think they should go, but where they want to be. So my work is all around bringing businesses to their full potential, working with entrepreneurs, making sure they don't get swallowed up by their business, and that they have the lifestyle, the income, and the work-life balance away from work that they want. And everybody is different, and there's no one size fits all. But I think as entrepreneurs, we get very caught up in making sure everybody else around us is looked after, is taken care of, customers, staff, suppliers, and sometimes the business becomes overwhelming and people lose sight of why they started off in the first place and what it is they want for themselves.
I think that must be quite common for entrepreneurs to think like they lose sight of why they started it in the first place. Do you generally just go in straight away and look at the financial aspect first? Like, what could this company be doing in terms of revenue, or is it cash positive, or could it be more efficient? Where do you normally start? Is it from a financial point of view, or is it more motivational from the founders?
It depends where the cracks are.
Right.
And I find a lot of the time people are saying, well, if they'd only do this and they'd only do that. But I just think, no, you've got to stop. First of all, if I want things around me to change, then who has to change first.
Right.
So I think the first thing is grounding the owner and see how far off track they are. And I don't always start with show me what you have been doing, because I find people don't always tell the truth. And I don't I'm not an accountant. I don't like asking for people's financials straight away, because interestingly, isn't trust so important in business relationships? Because when the trust develops, they automatically tell me the figures anyway.
Right.
So I wait for the relationship to be built and for that to come to me. So it depends where they're at. If people are like really, on the floor and really struggling, well, then that's crisis management, and that's different from like, we're doing okay. I want to have an overview of where we're going and what we potentially could be going to. So that's a different scenario to somebody saying like, the banks are closing me down, Liz, get in here.
Right.
So
okay. Yeah.
It depends on what my brief is. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And is it specifically the companies in the beauty space where you've been working the most?
I tend to go hair, beauty, what we call the professional services sector, because I think that's where my technical background is. But no, I can work in any sort of business, because when I trained as a coach, because when I decided to do this work, I thought, right, I need a process. So I trained as a coach. Then I realized I would be far too bossy. And I would just be going into people's businesses telling them what to do. So I actually left the industry. I've left my industry a few times so that I could, I left at that point and got on a panel of coaches, and I just worked with every sort of business for about 6 months. So I worked in restaurants and pubs and all sorts of agencies and consultancy firms, back in building firms and joinery companies.
Wow. Back in the building world. You'd that be
back in the building world. I kept that one to myself. So so I fine-tuned being a coach outside of my industry, so I can work in any sector.
There's one thing I'm dying to ask you is about your experience of working with, let's say, small to medium-sized enterprises that go after the consumer. They're in the B2C space, right? Mm-hmm. I've had conversations with people before, is that their business model is based on the fact that they have a lot of customers who are businesses, but they are small businesses and they're selling on to consumers. One of the challenges that comes up there is retention and also scaling it, because there's a lot of the businesses they need to scale to. Keeping in touch with those businesses can be challenging, and then retaining them as clients as well is really challenging too. And you must see that a lot, especially in that salon world, for sure. Do you have any advice on especially the retention part that people struggle with?
In B2C now we're talking about.
Yeah, so they're small businesses that are selling B2C, yeah. I
think whenever we move away from our foundations, we pay a price. And with any business I go into, so I don't think, I'm never really off. So no matter where I go, and I annoy friends, and things aren't right. But you've got to give me a reason to want to come back.
Yeah.
No matter what business you're in, you have to give me a reason to want to use your services again.
Yeah.
And that is rarely about the service, because whatever the service is, I can get that in lots of other places, or the product. So I need a reason to want to engage with you again. And it doesn't matter what the service is. People will forget what you've said. They'll forget what you've done. But they'll never forget how you made them feel.
Right.
And no matter what it is, if I feel good after interacting with you today, well then I'm going to want to talk to Justin again.
Right.
And what you're selling me is almost secondary.
Yeah.
And I think we make the mistake of thinking whatever it is I'm selling is the most important thing. No, that's only 20% of that only generates 20% of business. It's a secondary outer layer of why I like you, why I like your business, all the little extras that you bring to the table. That's what I go back for. Like, I live in a small little town. There's about 4 pubs. Some of them just tick along, but there's one. It doesn't matter what age group you are. It
Right.
doesn't, it doesn't where you fit in. This is the pub that everybody goes to. And I've sat there so many times. I thought, like, a pint of Guinness is a pint of Guinness, or a gin and tonic is a gin and tonic. What draws people back to this pub? And it's not the gin and tonic, and it's not the Guinness. It's the smile you get at the bar. It's people knowing your name. It's the atmosphere. It's the bit of fun that you have. It's the things that you remember. So you've got to give people a reason to want to interact with you over and over and over and over again. And you've got to connect so well with your customers that you are the first and only choice in their minds when they want whatever it is you sell.
Yeah, well, and that goes across so many things as well. So it's not just in a B2C setting, but also if you're a small business, you've been using a service for a while, something happens, you don't need to use it anymore, but you want rest assurance that they'll come back to you, and they'll have a good impression, and you remain memorable, right? Because I think a lot of things is that people we easily forget. We get so bombarded with so much information. We sometimes forget, that's what that company used to do, or what was the name of that company, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah.
And I think that's the challenging part when you have a team or you have big teams. We assume that they know that.
Yeah.
They don't. They think their job is to do whatever the actual work is. So that's my job. Why are they complaining? Yeah. So
yeah.
It's to pass that on as you scale up and as you grow, to remember that people need to be taught that, but they may not know it.
Fantastic stuff. Now, I know you're working on a particular project at the moment. If I get the company name correct, it's Aura 300, and that's targeted to salons and small businesses. So can you tell us what is Aura 300 and how's it a little bit groundbreaking? Because I think there's definitely a lot of implementation of AI that's been pretty groundbreaking there.
Yes, and that's the thing about entrepreneurship, isn't it? You just have to keep moving forward and embrace with whatever is coming. So Aura 300 is particularly exciting because, well, from my perspective, from a selfish perspective, I can teach people what to say, how to say it, how to close the sale, how to get the business, what the process is, but I can't stand over people's staff and make them do it.
Right.
And I know people are worried about AI, but the Aura 300, what we're developing is it's not going to reduce or take away people's jobs. It's going to do the tasks that I can't get them to do.
Right.
Or I can, but with great difficulty. So it's a 3-in-1, and it's the development of 3 different AI agents specifically designed for the hair, beauty and professional services industry, so it will speak their language. So the first one will actually be the receptionist, take incoming calls, talk about the other services, be able to upsell, cross-sell, and look after the client. The great thing about it is it will follow the script. It won't go off script, it'll follow the script.
Great.
Open 24/7, because again, with small businesses, you can't be open every single minute of every day. And very often I'm in small businesses that have been closed on a Sunday or a Monday, and they could be 4 or 5 hours picking up the calls that came in.
Future Fuzz is sponsored by SalesSource, B2B pipeline management and sales growth for your business.
Oh, through the answer machine, of course.
Through the answering machine while they were shut. So the first AI agent, that's called Emma, will solve that problem. The second AI agent rings out. So in my industry, we call it white space. I know it's called other things in different sectors, but that's where people have gaps in their diaries, in their work diaries. So this will come to an end, because if I employ somebody and they're only 50% full, I still have to pay them. I still have all my running costs. I'm trying to teach them how to get the client to become a long-term lifetime customer, but it doesn't always happen. So the second agent is called Yuki, and that can ring out.
Right.
So it can ring out customers that we haven't seen for 4 or 5 months, or if a new customer or if a new staff member, we can, ring a certain category of customers, try and get the person full. If the clients haven't been sold add additional services or products, Yuki can ring and say, "Hi, Justin. You bought your shampoo and conditioner a couple of months ago. It must be coming to an end now. Would you like us to replenish that for you?" So that's the second one. And the third one is called Nami, and Nami is for lead generation, because again, I see so many people in small businesses who are brilliant at their own skill set, but digital marketing could be taking up 15, 20 hours without them getting the result, because they don't really understand the nuts and bolts of it. So we're very excited about Nami because it can generate leads in your area, the right profile of clients that you're looking for. We can do the paid advertising for you and bring in the new clients for you.
Fantastic. I love the way they name them all individually, and they all have a task to play. It's just like, that's really, really smart. Yeah.
Does that make sense? Because it can be a little bit hard to explain.
Well, no, it does make 100% sense. So I think I studied hospitality and marketing at uni, and also at college I studied hospitality and catering, and then moved over to marketing. And the thing for a hotel was 100% capacity. The main goal of the hotel was to make sure that every single room was booked and full and used as often as possible. And that would mean like some pretty creative pricing at times, right? They might reduce the rate to make sure people would come to the hotel and make sure it would be full. And the same for a salon, right? A salon needs to have the agenda needs to be full, because you're paying for the salon, the electricity, potentially the staff, even though it's becoming more and more popular that staff are freelancers, right? And they rent a chair from within a salon. So yeah, 100% like capacity is key. I love the fact that you picked up on the part there where you have the outreach to say, hey, we've got this calendar space available. That could be a call or it could be a message, I'm guessing. Do you want to book one of these spaces that they've become available? We haven't seen you in 4 weeks or 5 weeks. That's absolutely brilliant. So really reminds me of my dissertation at university, Gloucestershire University. My dissertation was on the use of SMS in relationship marketing for BMW. Was back in the day, it was an SMS, right? There were no chatbots, there was no WhatsApp, but it was to build the program around when you needed to get your car serviced through BMW. And they could correlate that the more time you spent with BMW, the more likely you were to stay with BMW, right? And it's the same with the salon. The more times you go back, the more likely you're going to stay a long-term customer.
But isn't it the same with every business or in every sector? Yeah, it's easier to hold on to the customers that we have.
Yeah.
Than to be continually looking for new customers, while our customers are going to other people. They're going to other competition because we didn't take care of them. But the really exciting part of this is I was in the UK recently working with a salon and a team, and we had a team of about 10 and, teaching them how to upsell and cross-sell and all of that. And 8 I knew were going to go forward. 2 we were going to meet huge resistance with. I just knew it.
Why was that?
Because people don't like change.
Right.
They set in their ways, and this is the way I do it. Also, I don't care. This is what you employed me to do. I don't care whether she got. There is, that element always going to be there.
Yeah.
And I was able to contact that owner this week and say, how's everybody getting on? Okay, those 2, if they're not going to improve, I want to show you this AI. And we'll fill their white space, and we'll sell their retail, and they don't even need to know what's going on.
No, they don't even need to know what's going on, so there'll be no resistance. Yeah.
So isn't there always going to be a way around everything? But it's all about relationship building, isn't it?
Yeah, I think some people are a little bit scared of change, and also a little bit scared that AI is going to take their job, but it's actually the complete opposite.
So it's going to enhance it, but we have to be open to it and embrace it. Yeah.
Where do you see the market right now in terms of the adoption of AI? And lots of people are hunkering down, and it does feel like in the last, let's say, few months, it's been pretty slow for some organizations. What are your predictions with developments there in the future, especially in growth in Europe and the UK?
In relation to AI or in general?
I think in general, I think the economy in general, there seems to be a bit of a clash between the fact that lots of companies are inward looking at implementing AI and then then they're also not growing at the same time.
I think 2025 has been a strange year.
And you can say that again.
Yeah. And I actually think we're only settling from COVID now.
Really?
And that's, yeah. So I think we went through COVID for that long length of time, really, and then everything has been a bit of an upheaval since. And now I think things are starting to settle in a new world, in a new strange way of things. And I think it's hard because it's 2 steps forward, it's 3 steps back. We really are on a voyage of discovery, all of us now. We don't know. There's nothing set in stone. Nothing lasts forever anymore. The trends have all changed. I think the workforce has changed. So I think we have to embrace it and say, right, okay, let's just go with the flow here. And there's always opportunities. But business, commerce has changed, and we have to change with it.
COVID was I'm so glad you brought that up, because I do find it a fascinating subject. So there was this absolutely crazy period of time when, for example, e-commerce sales went absolutely through the roof. People couldn't go out, so they bought new TVs and home appliances, and Shopify share price went absolutely through the roof, didn't it? And streaming channels and what have you. So there was an immediate effect. There was also a panic as well, I suppose. And then it does feel like indeed the dust has settled and this is the new normal. But we live our lives in now, I guess, a bit of a different way. We seem to be far more remote, as it were.
Yes, it's completely different. And I can remember sitting in my office that week that we were being put into lockdown and having sitting here, and I was the only person in the building, and I think it was midnight or something. And I was sitting here saying, right, I don't know how. I had decided it was only going to last 3 months because I thought that was long enough, but I got that one wrong.
Right.
And I remember saying, right, there's 2 phases here.
Yeah.
One is we've got to pivot and get through this, whatever we do to just get through the whole crisis of it all. But once the dust settles, we will go into a huge economic global shift, the like of which we have never seen previously. And I think that's where we're at in 2025. An AI again as such an advancement. So that's rocking the boat as well. But I think how exciting. It's a whole new world. And we've had a couple of years now to get our head around the fact that the workforce has changed, people's attitude has changed. That whole madness that went on, online, that was in that pivot period. That was only going to be temporary anyway, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And now, so I don't know where we're going, but I know it's very exciting. But I do think that whole global shift, we're only at the start of it.
Interesting stuff. So back then, when you were sitting in the office at midnight all on your own, that you thought, this is going to last for 3 months, and it went on for about 2.5 years, didn't it?
I decided cash flow wise, I could manage nicely for 3 months. So it could end then. I can manage for 3 months. It'll all have to be over then. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then along came the government bailouts and all these things that we're now potentially still paying for. Yeah. Some schemes better than others, weren't they? Definitely. Yeah. If you could give one piece of advice for companies to really try and lock into now in the short term, because we know things are so fluid and they're changing all the time. Are there any particular things to really focus on now? Is it things like company culture or retention or innovation or, battening down the hatches? What would be, your key piece of advice right now?
I think for companies that employ people, I think the biggest, and because it's actually the biggest thing that I hear at the moment, what's your biggest challenge? And I keep hearing the word staffing. just staffing, because the mindset seems to have changed. I work in very few businesses now where people work 5 days a week. That would have been the norm pre-COVID.
That was the norm, yeah.
Yeah. Again,
And people are wanting to only work 4 days a week, and they're clocking off.
Yes. So, and then, like you just mentioned, freelance people want to be freelancers. They want to be self-employed. So I think entrepreneurs are very challenged about meeting the needs of their staff while also achieving the goals of their business. So I think my biggest advice would be to continue to work on yourself so that you can adapt to the change in the workforce.
And then when you say like working on yourself, that's to be more resilient or more open-minded?
I think it's also like, I was with a salon owner in England. He's been in business. He has a chain of salons. He's been in business for 25 years. He collected me at the airport and he said, Liz, I've just come from the class. I'm doing a class at the moment for employers about dealing with everybody's mental health. He said, I never had to do that before. He said, I never had to factor that in to my business before. So he said, but I'm having to learn how to do it now if I want to hold on to my staff. So, yeah, so that's what I mean about like, how do I need to educate myself for this new world to be at my best for my teams? And what was required of me 10 years ago it was a completely different skill set as to what is required now. So that's, I think we've got to start with myself. What do I need to do to change, to look around and be able to support my teams? Yeah.
I think that's some absolutely brilliant advice, Liz, and it's definitely got me thinking, and I'm sure that the listeners as well. Liz, where can people find you, and tell us a little bit quickly about where people can find you, and also about your project that you're working on, Aura 300 as well.
So I'm very easy to find. It's just my name, lizmckeon.com. And just come onto my website, send me an email, give me a call. I'd be delighted to hear from you.
Thank you very much for joining the show, Liz.
Thank you, Justin. It was an absolute pleasure.
Thanks for tuning in and making the choice to listen to this podcast. If you liked what you've heard today, please don't forget to subscribe.